Hello from the other side of the screen, and welcome to the Makwanas Podcast. If you are joining us for the very first time, I am Nikita Makwana, and sitting beside me, is my one and only husband, co-host, business partner, and partner in so many great things, Mompoloki Makwana.
Such a wonderful welcome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Such a beautiful moment, to sit next to you always when we're doing the podcast. I really enjoy it. I know it's a platform to learn a lot, especially for things that maybe you have not even shared with me yet. I get to learn them from here, and it's such an amazing, especially the books you are reading, the experiences you have had. Remember we talked about experience. I'm still in so much excitement looking at your FOP experience, because not only did it end with the FOP summit, but I continue to see many things you continue to do and work on from as a ripple effect from the summit. So thank you so much for hosting me.
I'm hosting you, or you hosting me.
Co-hosting.
We hosting we. So yeah, that's interesting. And as you know, I like it when you give me money. So if you have not paid attention, I say more things when you when you give me money. So probably that is the reason why I say extra things. Guys, let me just start by thanking you so much for watching our podcast. Over a couple of weeks, we've been having people just sending us messages, as always, talking about how impactful the podcast is. And recently we met someone who just shared with us how they've been following the work that we do for so long. And they remember even the first discussion that we had. Remember our test mic 1, 2, the one that we did?
Yes, I remember when we were starting off. So it was really amazing. It's amazing how people are able to say word to word, what task them. It's a different thing, honey, when someone says, hey, your podcast is very impactful. Yeah. But for someone to share 10, 15 things about what we said and what that takeaway, word to word, I was really shocked. And so this is very, very important that we continue to do and share what we have. And I'm happy that we continue to make time to make this podcast bigger and better.
It's always bigger and better. I actually love, there is someone who, what is her name? Sha'Carri, the USA athlete. I think somewhere around 2021, 2020, she came last.
It was 2021.
In the race, And you know how, they were asking her the backlash that she received from everybody else. And, she just scooped position 1. And,
she's the world's fastest now in 100 meters.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
You know what's shocking me? Today, when you were at work, I listened to at least 10 videos from her past, 2021, what happened. Even word to word, she said when she was in 2021, when she came last, she said, I tried my best and it couldn't come through. I'm not feeling well, but it's not my last. You know what she said? She said, I congratulate those who got position 1, who got positions, but they will see me again. They will surely see me again.
This is not the last of me.
This is not the last of me. I even remember Rihanna shared a comment when people were asking me about what she thinks about it. She said, no, it's not over for her. It's sometimes it's things telling you it's not your time yet. And this year, which is this week, after she won, she said to the person who interviewed her, you remember last year when I was here, I told you it was not my last. But then they asked her, how about the world? Appreciating you and stuff. I said, I've seen the world cheering for me and I've seen the world standing against me. This time around when I came, I made it about me. So I didn't come for anyone else but for me. And for me, I think, I love that we shared it. We can make a deconstruct there to say, how many times do we play a game for the next person? My mother, my husband. You will be saying, my husband. I bet I'm doing this for my wife. But to what extent do we create beautiful things out of creating for ourselves? And I feel like most of the time, we're able to go the extra mile when the person we are going for the extra mile is always looking at you, which is yourself. You know when you're not giving your 100%. Exactly. My wife may not know. We created this branding. I was creating this branding, and we may say, wow, my husband have created something beautiful, but I know what I should have added there, right? And most of the time, the power comes from being able to own it to yourself and say, I'm not doing it for the world. And the world is not something far. The world can be your kids. The world can be your spouse. The world can be your mother. The world can be your brother.
People around you.
People around you. Yeah. So I think we can just start from there.
It's so interesting because actually you said we are getting bigger and better, and then the first statement that came to my mind was Sha'Carri's statement when she said, I think the interviewer said you are back, and she said no, I'm not back, I'm better.
Yes. That's fine.
So we are not back, we are better, bigger and better. You know, I love that statement. So basically I know that you've been watching the kind of work that we do, and I'm actually appreciating that every single day. Because the other day, you know, when we went to Eswatini, and we also travel across the country, and people see the kind of work that we do, and I was so surprised how many people said, "Oh, I recognize you." And sometimes when I'm maybe within the university where I work, I am thinking maybe it's my student from the previous semester, only to find we've seen you from the podcast, and I'm like, podcast, which one did you watch? And you check the views, they're not 1,000, and they're like, oh, okay, so I've met 6 people today who recognize me, and I thought maybe it's from a different platforms, because you're looking at the number maybe of likes and clicks and subscription. By the way, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Very, very important. Thank you so much, it reaches a whole lot of people. And like we just said, sometimes you don't know how much people you are reaching out there, how many lives you are touching out there, because the live didn't hit the subscribe button. One way of saying thank you, one way of saying I see you, of saying I recognize you, is hitting the subscribe button and the like button and leaving a comment, of course. So that is something that I really got to learn to appreciate.
Do you remember there was a time where we were in Gaborone and we were shopping for winter shopping, and there was a gentleman who was there watching me, and most of the time you would notice them before I could notice them. But just watching and said, this gentleman want to greet you, and I went to greet him, and it was like, nice to see you. I was like, really, honey, how do you normally pay attention to people like that? I know you really love people, but from pay attention to someone distance, like that person really wants to talk to you. It's not even the first, maybe the 5th, 7th. So far, this is just the year alone. And then they said, I watch your content. And sometimes we don't just click like, sometimes we don't comment, but we watch. Can we talk about the invincible power of social media and digital content? Because sometimes we underestimate the power of reach and the power of influence we possess through these digital platforms, and we think, oh, I'm just doing for a few people who are following my page, not realizing the reach and the magnitude in which you are able to reach people.
Wow, that is very important. I mean, social media today is not something that you can take lightly. We have seen a lot of people using it to express their gifts, to express their talents, and just to reach the global economy, to reach the global market. So you might think that the people that are watching you are people that you won't need tomorrow, or you're just thinking it's just people that I don't know, they they don't matter. But I've actually learned to appreciate that social media has a way of taking what I do as Nikita Makwana to the people. I actually learned to appreciate that through my Facebook and through my LinkedIn. I don't have a massive following, but I've
right now it's more than 4,000.
But it's not that massive, LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, because it's business, and I love LinkedIn. So if you really want to see what I do and to connect with me, just to get in touch with me, I think LinkedIn is the right platform. Of course, I'm also there in other social media platforms, and both of us are as the Makwanas Podcast, and also our personal
pages,
social media handles. So I just got to learn and to realize that people are looking at me. And it is the same for you, it's the same for someone that is watching. People are always looking at you, whether you like it or not, whether you are posting because you are joking or you are posting because you are serious. Somebody believes what you're saying, and people have just a way of linking what you post with your personality, with your mindset, basically how your thoughts are. I know, and I've seen people saying, if you take us in social media, seriously, you'll stress yourself. Here we are just joking, but it's so serious. Employers nowadays are coming to social media platforms
to vet you.
Just to scan if you are the right person for the company. And imagine every Monday, you are posting like, hey, I'm tired of this job. Imagine you are going there and your boss is annoying, and you're putting that kind of content there. I mean, we see that every day. We have heard stories of people, including people that are so close to us, that social media has worked for them. And we also have stories of people that were abused through the medium of social media. We have had both powerful stories and negative stories, and people will have to understand that you can't be above what you post.
That's very true. And I'm thinking of recently, you are currently running a program called Become a Global Expert. And part of and parcel of your program is focusing on helping people to stand out. And your message is, we're living in the connected world, and we are connected to the digital platform. And our skill set are not limited to our classrooms. Our skill set are not limited to Halape, Mahalape. They are broad. And most of the time, when you talk to professionals who feel boxed in, who feels like they are not going to be able to make a breakthrough, you normally ask them this question: how are you leveraging on your digital platforms? And most social media presence. And most of them will like, no, I don't use social media.
Or they give you the blank stare.
Yes, and it's like you are wrong to ask such a question. But then they are shocked of the kind of impact, the network, the net worth, the amount of money someone is able to create by leveraging on their social media. I know you are currently running the Become a Global Expert. And I want you to touch from the aspect of being very intentional, because I've seen you be that. I've seen you create content every single day. I've seen you write articles. I've seen you sit down here creating video content that are teaching people on how they can take their skill set outside. Can we talk about the intentionality that someone today who have not been posting nothing, they are sharers only, even for some things that is not in alignment of what they want to create? Talk about that intentionality that someone has to have in order for them to position themselves globally.
That is a very good question. Whether you believe you are global or not, you are global. The shift is not about really becoming global. It's recognizing that you are global. And you of course, almost all of us, we have friends from different countries, our international friends, whether it's on Facebook, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. And these people are looking at what we are sharing. And like I say, people have a way of linking what you share with your personality, with your skills, with your ambitions, etc. Right? And your experience. And what you show people, they believe that's what you want them to see about you. So usually when I talk about becoming global, people think I'm requiring that they travel to every country. What I'm saying is, you are already in every country. If I post one video, maybe, and then it has approximately 36,000 views, even if it's 10 views, maybe someone from Botswana, and another person who is viewing this video is in Zambia, the other one is in Zimbabwe. It doesn't, every time you're posting something, there are gonna be people who are seeing it. Somebody can download whatever that you have posted, and or share whatever that you have posted, and then it just reaches the global market
in the private network.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you are going viral every day. The question is for what? What are you going global for? When I speak or when I talk to professionals, especially those that I know, this person is so good and is making a beautiful difference wherever they are. Those who feel stuck, I don't know what to do with my life. Of course, when you talk about salary increment, it's one of the most sensitive things for a lot of professionals, and that's where most professionals are so stuck. And that is where the conflict between the employer and the employee, we usually have the fight, to say I want to salary increment and all those kind of situations. And if you don't reach that, if you are lucky, yes, but even if it's an increase, it will never be enough. So usually when I train professionals, one of the things that I just look at, when I just go to your social media, I can find out why you're broke.
Or why you are struggling to make a transition to find the next job. There were some professionals you were talking to, is it in Swatini?
Yeah.
You were saying, if you're still looking for a job, you are the problem. You were telling them, if you are still looking for a job, if you are still hunting for the next opportunity, you are the problem. Opportunities must find you. People must search for you. Yeah. You are the value. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
You should be chased around.
Yeah.
Not you chasing for opportunities and begging and selling yourself short. And that comes from an element. How many calls do I receive every day, honey? People say, we want to be trained. We want our staff training. We want this. Some are trusting me to coach their families because of the digital presence, the intentionality to say, every time I post, I must share something of
in
value.
alignment also.
I used to think like I'm missing out as a youth because I feel like I felt like I was very serious.
Yeah.
But now that it pays off to be serious of what I put out, I see the element of growth in my career and growth in my businesses. To realize that every day people, when they go on their phones, we may say some that are just looking for fun, but some are looking for content, some are looking for information that can help them on how they raise their kids, learning Chinese language, learning intercultural competence that will teach people. So it's very, very important that we are mindful that we have an opportunity for a lifetime. Anyone, including us today, sitting here, using this platform, using just our phone here, to say this, lends us bigger opportunities that we never thought we could reach, while our first intent was just to empower people.
That is so powerful. And the statement that you just shared, I know, especially when I'm coaching, professionals, and they feel like I'm being hard on them when I say, if you're still looking for a job, it means you are the problem. I know how controversial that may be, and as people are, hearing it, and that is okay. I mean, especially this for the first time. And maybe just to break it down for you. There are people that maybe they have been working for a couple of years, and their colleagues within an institution, within a company they are working for, they know how excellent this person is. And, they feel I'm not paid
enough.
According to my value, or what I deserve. Sometimes maybe the company, doesn't have enough resources to pay that excellence, but they're still keeping the excellence, right?
Sure.
And this person finds it hard to find a job elsewhere or to venture into something different, whether it's business or anything. Is it a question of incompetence? No. The question is, it's just a challenge of nobody knows you, nobody knows your name, nobody knows what you're good at, nobody knows what you know.
Beyond the borders of your company.
Except your colleagues. And when they go to your social media, they can't find you anyway.
There's nothing.
When somebody shares a picture of maybe people castrating cows, you are sharing that. Tomorrow is something else, you are sharing that. It's agriculture, you are sharing that. Somebody is doing something with the shoes, you are sharing that. And like the baboons and all.
We don't know who you are.
People don't know.
We don't know your experiences.
Exactly. So I feel like positioning is very important.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until you lose a job and then you start maybe running around and trying to share and tell people, hey, I have 10 years experience, please share my CV, my employer is in your timeline. Actually, you should find a way of positioning yourself and teaching just insights. You're solving problems every day.
Yep.
You don't have to find anything new. You just share what you're already doing. If you are somebody who is in the industry of fixing phones, you can make short videos of content around that. Yep. Before you know it, people start looking for you. I have seen a lot of people doing that. And one of the guys that really I have been feeling so proud of is Bobo Samuel.
Yeah.
I have been following his work, and I know he's a banker, and he's been helping people to do CVs. And all this. The guy is doing well.
Yeah,
exceptionally well, So I really appreciate what he does.
Yeah.
He shares that online, and every day people are sending him messages. He shares those testimonies, and the more he does that, the more business he gets.
Yeah.
In a situation where he decides to do that, as his life,
it will go.
It will work.
It will work. It's
yes.
already working.
It's already working.
Yeah.
So that is what I mean by that. So I think this also goes for people who do not have maybe employment at the moment, or the business is not really going the way that they want it to go.
Yeah.
You can still share what you are good at. Your social media is your CV today.
True.
There are a lot of people in my business, International Language Hub, that I started off with teaching English. Now we have German, we have Spanish, we have French, we have Setswana, Chinese, and other languages that we are teaching, and we're also offering translation services.
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish, I don't speak French. I started off as a Chinese teacher and introduced these languages and Chinese language to the people, and they started asking for other languages.
Exactly.
And then that's how I had to incorporate, other things. And that actually was very important, especially when I didn't have, there was a time I was not doing any kind of work. I didn't have a job, and I was able to fend for myself. And I remember that every time maybe when I'm meeting someone, they want to work with me, they use my past work as my CV, and they don't have, any reason to doubt my credibility. They basically work with me on the merit of the evidence that I have, placed through social media. So that's how powerful it is.
What you put out every day, the post you just shared 5 minutes ago, it is representing who you are.
Yeah.
And when people are looking for people they can call, they go through social media, they search for you. What are they going to find out? It's very, very important that we are mindful about that. Just 2 days ago, I posted something on LinkedIn because I realized that most of the time you'll have these people with the profile and then the green thing looking for opportunities. And I said, open to work. And I said, instead of just telling us to share your CV, you have 10 years experience in marketing. Create content. What do you learn about marketing? What should marketers think about today? What can we do to market our businesses better? Share content so that when we are sharing your value, even the people who didn't even think they needed that, they will see they need you. So it's very, very important that we leverage on social media.
Absolutely.
But there's something, Hani, that I wanted to talk about, which is passing the baton. It's a very important it's a very important topic that I thought about, throughout the week that we should talk about. When you talk about passing the baton, there's the positive light of it. And there's the syndrome part of it where you really need to be helped. Can we talk about passing the baton and what we should understand about it? What is the stake for our futures when you talk about this passing the baton syndrome?
I didn't think you're going to bring this up because I don't know. For me, so basically I had this, I don't know whether I should call it a revelation or what, okay? So the only term that I could find for it was passing the baton syndrome. There are many other syndromes that people have, but I have figured that there is also what we call what I would term passing the baton syndrome.
Yeah.
So this actually happened between me and some people that I was coaching, right?
Yeah.
So it happened that when I was putting them in a group, right, and we're having discussions, I was noticing a pattern. And this pattern, as somebody who works with students, and basically even in professionals at that time, they are students, they are learners, So there are people that when we're in a room, when you're asking a question, they know the answer.
Yeah.
And instead of giving you the answer,
yeah.
they decide to whisper to their friend. And then the friend is going to say that, whatever that they wanted to say. And it's like it's their idea.
Yeah.
You get my point?
They own the shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is my idea. It's not your ideas because I couldn't express this idea.
Yeah. No confidence.
No confidence at all. And sometimes when I'm asking you something, you're like, oh, I think this person is the one who can do it better. This thing is for these people.
It's for certain people,
not me. And the first thing I was like, why are you passing the baton?
Yeah.
You are passing the baton because you are giving, with an illustration of a teacher, you are giving the teacher an opportunity to remember this guy.
Yeah.
And if the answer is not correct, the teacher is going to focus on this person, helping this person to get it right.
True.
In a situation where I have to remember anybody tomorrow,
you will remember the person.
I remember the person who engaged with me. And that is just something that I've noticed. It happens to a lot of people all the time.
Yeah.
This is not only with responding to questions, even responding to opportunities.
That's true.
There are people that just, when opportunities come, they don't believe in seizing things.
Yeah.
They believe in passing them. They take opportunities like problems. If it involves talking, no, I don't want to talk, you better talk. Can you raise your hand for me? Can you do it for me?
Yeah.
Can you be remembered for me? Can you be exalted for me? Can you be given increase for me? Just take the baton.
Yeah.
Passing the baton syndrome.
There was a point in my life when running my institution, Prime Coaching, I didn't believe that I would lead team building sessions. Until one day you told me, why do you always recommend people for something you can learn and do? And all the time I was passing opportunities. And the turnaround in our business came now through team building sessions that I had to learn and say, how long am I going to be past this thing?
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to learn. I know by nature I can learn anything and teach.
Yeah.
And so in my point, it was like there are certain people who are meant for such.
Yeah.
And unconsciously, I was passing the baton. Because if someone else does it, then next time they will still call the next person. They're not going to come to me again.
Because it's not you who came.
It's not me who
didn't show up.
Yes. And so even tomorrow, that person, if they are looking, they are being asked for someone to be recommended, they will not even say, Mr. Makwana recommended to someone else.
Yeah.
They've forgotten about me completely. And how many times in our careers, in our businesses, do we fade away from opportunities because we are not able to own up the fact that we are deserving? At what point are we willing to say, enough is enough, with not trusting that what we have, can work? Yeah. Because even if it does not work, it means that you are going to learn through the process. Yeah. You are going to get better through the process.
Absolutely.
So passing the baton syndrome, I thought that we should talk about it because most people are struggling today. Yeah. And sooner or later, they will be resentful to the people they have been passing the baton to.
You're very right. And while we are still there, I wanted to highlight that someone might say, oh, if you know someone that is good, why not give them the opportunity? That is not what we are talking about. Yeah. When I had this, whatever it is, I don't know whether I should call it a revelation of passing the baton syndrome. It was coming from knowing that this person is good. Yeah. Knowing that this person is amazing, and also being guilty of it a million times growing up. I've seen myself doing that, knowing the answer in class because I'm not sure about it. I have to tell it to a kid who, who is more confident than me. And, now, yes, I'm able to speak. I had a lot of work that I had to do to be able to do this, to stop passing the buttons, basically. There are people that are excellent in things, but they don't go forth and, they give opportunities to others. There are moments in your life where you can say, okay, let me recommend someone to do this because I feel like they are deserving of it.
That's true.
That is understandable. But not in a position where you say you are passing an opportunity to someone because I'm not worthy.
Because I'm not confident.
Because I'm not confident. Because I'm not the right person for this. Because, I'm just not the one. So you just have that kind of pass the button syndrome. When something that is good, when something that is positive comes, you feel like them first, them first, them first. And sometimes we do this and hide behind, I'm empowering others. But you know deep down inside of you that you are not empowering, you're afraid and you're trying to go behind
someone.
So I know how painful this thing can be, and a lot of people are going through it. And recently I actually talked to some of my students about it. And one of them really got emotional. She actually ended up crying and saying, I never really thought every time I said I don't know and the teacher moves to
the next person.
Moves to another person. I've actually passed the baton to other person, and all the time I thought that maybe being quiet is the right thing to do. So it's something that I didn't know. Of course, you don't expect people to cry in class, but sometimes it happens, especially when you're touching on something that maybe they didn't see it happening, or they just didn't notice how much
the frequency in which they do it.
Exactly. And it is also the same every time when you're not acting on an idea. You're passing the baton because somebody's going to do it, and you're going to look at them doing it, and then you're going to be resentful. I actually in one of the sessions that I recently had, I shared with you that one of my clients was really struggling because she's been teaching people on basically how to enterprise things, because it's something that she's been doing as a job, and she sees them, they're flourishing financially, but she's not. And she was telling me about it like it's a simple thing, and I asked her a simple question: how does that make you feel? When you see them prospering, how does that make you feel? And she said, I'm supposed to be proud, but actually it's a bit embarrassing for me because now what I have groomed begins to notice that I'm suffering. And most of the teachers, especially in our country, we have that kind of situation. You just teach students, and maybe you don't go beyond that yourself. You can maybe focus on finance, on entrepreneurship, and all this, but you don't create platforms for yourself to do that. Yes, and then your students, they always grow bigger. Yes, you are proud of the students and all that. But if you keep on passing the baton without learning to seize the moment, you're going to miss a lot. And instead of being proud, you are going to be so basically it's just that you shouldn't, it's not in every, you're passing the button. There is timing. There's time to do it. By the time you pass the button, you pass it because you are fulfilled.
Thank you. From a level of fulfillment.
Yes.
Not from a level of fear. Not from a level of wanting to see what others would do with what you are not able to contain. Thank you so much for sharing that much on passing the button. I know currently, I've introduced this without introducing it. Your current rate is this book by 𝐀𝐻𝐿 Maxwell, 8 Pillars of Excellence. In our closing, I'd like to share maybe your aha moment that you picked from 𝐀𝐻𝐿 Maxwell here, especially on the issues of leadership, issues of relationship building. What is your takeaway? I will chip in there and but I would like you to share your takeaway. Next time I will share my read.
All right, 8 pillars of excellence. You know, your girl loves reading. I just enjoy reading and gathering new thoughts, new information, and just getting to know what somebody in the other side of the globe, whatever that they are thinking, just to pick their brains, you know. So I've been reading the 8 pillars of excellence, and for a couple of years I've been working lecturing languages, and I have been building, of course, as an entrepreneur, and doing my job and excelling. I think professionally I've been doing well, so something that I'm so grateful to God for. So recently I've been reading more books on leadership, because when you are on entrepreneurship and you're leading people, and also just being the virtue of leading college students, you're leading adults, young adults, and also there are adults there. So I've really been working on understanding how leadership works. How can I better myself as a leader? And I got hold of this book. The aha moment for me was on connecting with people. I'm very passionate about connecting. I'm very passionate about relationship building. I always say, to me, when I go to class, people are not just numbers. I really want to know who you are. When I'm sitting next to you, I really want to know who you are, to connect with you. And I always hope that we get just to know each other. Just that kind of exchange. And when I got hold of this book, I was so grateful for it. John C. Maxwell talks about the importance of connecting with other people. And the only way that you can connect with people is when you make them feel like they matter. When you talk to people, you give them undivided attention, you make them feel like they matter. You acknowledge who they are. You embrace the fact that you are different from them and they are different from you. You just get to enjoy who they are. They are able to express their gifts to their level best. And I feel like it's something that a lot of leaders are struggling with. I mean, when you think of a good leader, right, you think of somebody who connects with you, who gives you time, somebody who sees you for who you are. There are people that, they have a picture of what a perfect employee should be, what a perfect husband should be, what a perfect friend should be. That is their picture. Okay, they don't allow you to be basically to express yourself according to who you are, your uniqueness, to embrace the uniqueness. So that is one of the things that I have really picked from this book. And as you know, I love reading, and after reading, I read piece by piece. So after I read, I how do I call it? I implement it, and I have tried a couple of nuggets or a couple of pillars from these books, and I have seen that working for me at work, in business, and just as a professional. So that's it.
I love it. And one of the things that from this book, as you are reading, I seen you move from just a shift of being a lecturer and a businesswoman to becoming more of a leader. And you being able to establish a program you run at Global Radio Communications, which is called Global Leadership Program, where you are looking at aspects that leaders can do today in order to thrive in different environments. Earlier on this morning, we were talking about how leaders are not mindful that when they remove favoritism, when they remove, when they remove things that are not connecting people, when they remove things that are not able to bring the team together, it puts more work. On them than on the people. Because at the end of the day, the shape of an organization, I was listening to, what is it called? Gary V. He said, your employees will not work harder than your company. More than you in your company, you should work more than your employees. Therefore, it means taking into consideration the aspects of how people are relating, how people are communicating, how are they connecting. There's an element of connection I wrote about in my book, What Amazing Employees Do. and I call it vibrancy. This is how much time people create environment where they're able to connect, where they're able to talk to each other. Do people feel safe to be around you? Do people feel safe to express their emotions? Do they see you as a friend or a backstabber? Do they see you as a person they can count on, or someone they see you as someone who is a hot topic competitor, that when you are not there, they sabotage and talk all ill stuff about you? So for me, there's a lot I know that you have not shared now that you have learned from this book, because most of the time, and many other things, you know. So I'm just realizing, you know, the power of understanding how to lead others and how to lead ourselves. So I've seen you becoming more and saying, you know what, I'm pushing more of my mandate as a leader now than just limiting it to a businesswoman, than limiting it to a career woman in a lecture. So I was really proud to see that shift in your mind and how you are intentional to express the things you learned with people we meet, right?
Yeah.
So that is something that I've been able to pick from what you are reading. I don't know if you have anything to share.
I think that one of the things that I have learned to appreciate over time is the link between what I do and what I continue to do. You know, you're starting somewhere, and then the more that you read, the more that you keep on doing the work, the more things get clearer, and you start seeing the connectivity between what you are doing. And let me just to be specific with this one, right? I've been teaching people on cultural intelligence, intercultural competence, becoming global, how to think globally, how to position yourself in the global arena. But one of the things that I had avoided for some time was teaching more on leadership. Because most of the time I would shy away from that. It was like, okay, of course, because of age, number one. Number two, I'll be wondering, okay, like they will start questioning, of course, my experience. Are you experienced in this field? Have you ever been, all that? Until I started receiving calls from people, and they were like, I heard you teaching on intercultural competence, on cultural intelligence, and I am an HR, I'm a CEO of this company, and I'm struggling with leading teams. And I'm realizing this person is asking for a training in global leadership, how to lead global teams. And from that, I remember, how I went to school. I was like, I went to school to just basically advance myself. I was already doing the work, I went ahead and gave trainings, and I always get positive feedback. But I've realized that the more I started being bold and owning, okay, this is something that I do, and this is how much is helping people. And the proof is there. People are coming back with testimonials to share how the trainings have impacted themselves. I started gaining more confidence and the boldness. Even to shoot videos and to start talking about it, and writing articles about it, and now seeing people talking about it, and business coming in the area of leadership is something that I've really been so I've learned to appreciate, and just to understand the importance of relationships in leadership. Valuing people is something that is important, whether you're a leader or you are a follower. Placing value in people, it just makes a difference in how they feel about themselves, number one, and it places such a huge difference in how they serve you as a leader. When people feel that you care about them, they defend you.
True.
It is those that you stood by who will defend you when days are tough. That's something that I got to understand. When you stand by people, when you support people, when you empower people, if you have the resources, you give the resources to people to use them. And when you have a voice and you get into rooms that people are not able to go there for themselves, you speak for them. And you just do things, for the glory of God, People can tell when you love them, and people can tell when you use them. So that is something that I've got to learn. not only from the books, but also with the experience. When you care, people can tell, even a little kid, a young baby, they can tell that this person cares about me. And you know, there is a certain way that a kid plays when they see somebody that cares about them. So for me, connecting, loving, caring, placing value genuinely is very pivotal in any kind of relationship, any kind of platform. So thank you for asking.
I'm glad I put in this segment of what I was reading today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking this time to listen. I'm sure you have some comments. Please share them on the comment box below. Remember to hit the subscribe button and like and share the content with your network. Thank you so much for watching from us, the Makwanas. It's a good night. Thank you so much.
Good night. Bye.
All right.